to the hospital for a sore throat and they will say, "Are you pregnant? Give me a urine sample to prove you're not." You can be like 90 years old and they'll be like, "Give me a urine sample. I want to test you for pregnancy." Like, hey guys, I want to come to you with this video about Alexee Trevizo. So it's an update. But if you don't remember, Alexee is the young woman who was charged in unaliving her infant after giving birth in the hospital, chucking the baby in the trash, and the housekeeper discovered it. I think it was a couple of years ago now. But let's look at this article out of People magazine, and it's from September 2025. This is a case that I'm particularly interested in, one, because I really do get into true crime, but also this is obviously my area of expertise, OB, and so I find it all very interesting. And yeah, let's get into it. I will be commenting throughout, so if you don't like that, then you may not want to watch this video. Sorry. Okay, so it says, after cheerleader is accused of putting baby in trash, why is the hospital being sued on claim of wrongful death? Y'all got to go back and watch my video on this whole thing because I had some things to say, and this does not surprise me at all. So let's get into it. A mother is charged with the murder of her newborn baby found dead in the trash, but the estate of the infant is suing the hospital alleging wrongful death. And I'm all for it. This is from September 8th, 2025. Okay, so let's see. The New Mexico hospital where a high school cheerleader secretly gave birth and then put her newborn in the trash is being sued for wrongful death. Alexee Trevizo gave birth in a bathroom at Trevizo General Hospital on January 27, 2023, approximately 2 hours after arriving to the emergency room and complaining of back pain. So what we know is that back pain can be associated with labor. And she was there for 2 hours. So if she came in complaining of back pain, and assuming she may have had back pain prior to her arriving, maybe for a couple of hours or all day, I think, as we find out, then they really should have been a little more gung-ho with her exam. The newborn's body was discovered in the trash a short time later, according to a copy of the arrest affidavit obtained by People, at which point Trevizo said she gave birth during the 17 minutes she was in the bathroom, but that the baby was stillborn. Not true. 4 months later, Trevizo was arrested and charged with first-degree murder after an autopsy determined that the child, posthumously named Alexee Fierro, had been breathing outside the womb, meaning she lied about the baby being born stillborn. The baby was born alive and suffocated because the baby was put in the trash. The lawyer representing Trevizo is not only defending his client against the charge, but has also filed a wrongful death complaint in civil court on behalf of the deceased baby's estate, seeking damages from the hospital, Trevizo's attending physician, Dr. Heather Marshall Vasquez, and emergency room staff members who attended to the teenager. Now let me tell you, okay, I'll go on and read the next part, but I do want to tell you why I think they have a case, and I'm not a lawyer. They had every opportunity and the responsibility to intervene on behalf of baby Alex, okay? She was there at a time when the baby was alive. There should not be a death that is not natural in the hospital, especially for a baby, right? Like, you don't expect to give birth to a well, healthy baby and then for the baby to die. So it was the onus was on the hospital staff to intervene to keep both mom and baby safe. Now, I'm not saying she's not responsible, but what I'm saying is we can have more than one responsible party. And if she came in with a live baby, which she did, then the baby should still be alive, okay? They should have been able to intervene on mom, unaliving her baby. Let's see. Trevizo told staff she was not pregnant and in fact, she was on her period upon arriving to the hospital, according to a copy of the civil complaint contained by People. The doctor on duty then ordered medications that the complaint alleges have warnings against using while pregnant. Meanwhile, a test run by hospital staff revealed Trevizo was pregnant, but per the complaint, Trevizo had not yet learned this when she told a nurse she had to use the bathroom. A timeline of that bathroom trip is included in the arrest affidavit, which states that Trevizo first entered the bathroom at 1:39 a.m. and remained there for 18 minutes. leaving only when hospital staff threatened to open the door. As Trevizo returned to her hospital room to receive an ultrasound, a member of the cleaning crew was called to the bathroom where they found a large amount of blood per the arrest affidavit. When the cleaner went to take out the trash, she thought it was much heavier than usual, and when she looked inside, she found a trash bag tied up underneath of other trash. The housekeeper then saw that what she thought was a baby and immediately called in 2 nurses, according to the affidavit. Per an amicus brief filed by the state of New Mexico, staff called police and Dr. Vasquez addressed the situation with Trevizo, saying, "We discovered a dead baby in the bathroom." Trevizo then allegedly said, "I'm sorry, it came out of me. I didn't know what to do." The nurse informed Trevizo and her mother that the baby appeared to be full term per the amicus brief, prompting Trevizo to allegedly exclaim, "Nothing was crying." That could have been true. I mean, you would think that they would have heard the baby if the baby was crying. That doesn't excuse her putting the baby in the trash, right? Because crying or not, you don't just throw a person in the trash, right? So those dots aren't connecting. But the baby not crying could have been true, because babies don't always cry at delivery. Trevizo was allowed to go home and continue with her school year until the autopsy report came back stating that the child had air in his lungs and that there was evidence of a hemorrhage consistent with hypoxia, meaning that the baby may have hemorrhage. And I'm wondering if it has anything to do with her cutting the umbilical cord and the baby probably just maybe bled out. I don't know. That would have been exsanguinated though, right? Not hemorrhage. I don't know. But hypoxia indicating that the baby was deprived of air. The high school senior was arrested on May 10, 2023 and charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. Trevizo entered a plea of not guilty to both charges and was released pre-trial, attending her prom but not her high school graduation ceremony. The district's attorney case relies on the alleged confession Trevizo made, as well as surveillance video inside the hospital showing her enter and exit the bathroom. New Mexico's 5th Judicial District Court ruled just before trial that Trevizo's alleged confession and all video of her inside the hospital would not be admissible at trial because it was protected under doctor-patient privilege. Lawyers for the state challenged that ruling in an amicus brief filed with the New Mexico Supreme Court, who just heard arguments in the case last week. Trevizo's murder trial is on hold while lawyers for both sides await the Supreme Court's ruling, while the wrongful death suit is currently on track to head to trial sometime next year, meaning 2026. So this should be interesting. This is definitely a case I will be following. I think obviously her murder case and the hospital wrongful death suit case are separate to some extent. But they have a case because it shouldn't have happened. It should not have happened. And if you were to view my other video, I did tell you there were some very obvious signs that Alexee was pregnant and in labor. And if someone says they have to go to the bathroom and they're pregnant, you don't just let them go. Now, it could be argued that they did not know at the time that she asked to go to the bathroom that she was pregnant. Maybe the results weren't back. But if she had a gravid belly, right? If her belly looked like it had a baby in it, if she's complaining of low back pain, I would have expected them to do an exam before allowing her to go to the bathroom. But the thing is, sometimes we have these anchoring biases in medicine where maybe because you came in complaining of back pain, it's just not that serious, right? And so if they didn't take it to be something that serious, then they probably like, yeah, go ahead and go to the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's all right. At the very least, I would have expected them to say, go to the bathroom and give us a urine sample, but it doesn't even seem like they asked for that. So I just don't think that they carried the weight that they should have with this case. And we can say that hindsight is 2020, but I'm telling you, you can go to the hospital for a sore throat, which you shouldn't do. You should just go to urgent care or your primary care. But anyway, you can go to the hospital for a sore throat and they will say, are you pregnant? Give me a urine sample to prove you're not. You can be like 90 years old and they'll be like, give me a urine sample. I want to test you for pregnancy. Like, they always test for pregnancy. So I'm surprised that that's not mentioned at all here when sending her to the bathroom. They had sent for a pregnancy test. I'm not sure if that was by urine or blood, that ultimately did determine that she was pregnant, but I feel like it was maybe blood. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like we're missing some key details here, but the hospital had a duty to protect that baby and they failed miserably, obviously. But let me know what you guys think. You could think that I'm totally crazy and that there's no way that they could have known she was pregnant and it's all her fault. I'm not saying it's not all her fault. I'm saying that it's all her fault plus somebody else gets a second pie for her, to her first. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Like, comment, share, and follow for more. Bye.
And if you want to know more, follow me.